Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes. His name is Bricky. But before we get started, if you enjoy today's episode and maybe you want to support us, head over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. Shy now does her takes on Warhammer-related stuff. She has 3 episodes. They're short, little, 3-minute blurbs about, the Orc Flyers, the Sons of Malice, the Orc ships, the water ones. So that is something you should definitely check out over at patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you also can access to all of our posters in crispy digital format. And if I'm not mistaken, Bricky, we have a brand spanking new poster to show off.
That is what I've been told.
I think you're going to like it.
I mean, honestly, the last couple of them have been pretty good. I see you've adjusted. Oh, I haven't clicked spoiler yet, just so you know. I have the last couple of them. You have taken a stance to be a little bit less TNA and a little bit more generally. What's the word I'm looking for? Tasteful, or at least like the directions a little. I'm just clicking the thing.
Yeah, just click the thing.
Okay, that's not.
What? That's tasteful, right?
Wait,
what's not tasteful about that?
It's all right. It's June. It's June.
It's June.
I can't say anything. I'm not allowed to. I will be shot in the streets. Like that. I'll be shot dead like a dog in the street. Hello, Adric viewers and enjoyers and detractors. This video is sponsored by Raycon and their everyday headphones this time. The new model they have come out with is absolutely fantastic. It takes all the greatness of the Raycon earbuds and puts them into the headphone variant, including things like fantastic noise cancellation, 40 hours of battery life, and much, much more at a fraction of the cost. So much so that actually charging these things for only 15 minutes will get you 2 full hours of battery life. And I don't know about you, I carry around a spare charger. It makes things super easy. The headphones are also incredibly light. I have noise cancellation on right now and I can barely hear my own voice as I talk to you. They are a great choice. They're not too heavy. They last a long time. They have great rechargeability. And I think you should definitely check them out in the link in the description. So go ahead and go to buyraycon.com/Adric15 to get 15% off Raycon's best-selling headphones. That's buyraycon.com/Adric15 to get 15% off. Thank you very much for sponsoring this video, and let's get on with our topic. I can't believe that I was in the middle of making a Pramicon Sky Rampant deck, and this is what I have to be pulled into.
That was a whole lot of words I did not understand. I'm assuming magic, because you've been doing a little more magic lately, right?
I have, and it's actually suffering to see how good the 40k magic cards are and how perfect they are in magic. It's wild to see how the lore has made the magic cards more interesting for 40k than the models. And it's different game systems, so I can't really be that surprised. But I'm just damn, insert character here. That really works as character here. Pick up the brand new poster at orchidate.com, link in the description, so that you can get yourself a great new postery doodad. Let's go.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Now that we're sufficiently off the rails, I think it's time for me to guess the quote.
All right, here's your quote. Your quote goes, "You like dags?"
You like dags?
You like dags? Yeah, dags.
You like dags? So I'm guessing we're talking about specifically cyber mastiffs today.
I mean, not specifically cyber mastiffs.
Oh, but sort of pet creature, dog related stuffs.
I mean, yes.
Like combat beasts.
Who let the dogs out?
Who?
I can't believe that song is as popular as it is, because it's not even a song. I could barely even classify it as a musical piece of art.
It's got that catchy chorus. That's all a song needs, is a catchy, repeatable chorus.
Yeah, it's like what's that other song? With the 2 dudes with the techno helmets. Why am I forgetting their name? Daft Punk. What's their song where they don't say anything besides the one phrase?
Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger, rolling ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Maybe that one? Harder, better, faster, stronger?
Yeah, but you said more words than I thought they had in that song, so I'm gonna not.
Yeah, there are a lot more words than that in that song.
Yeah.
But everybody remembers the chorus line, though.
That is fair. All right. Well, anyway, we're talking about dags. We're talking about dags. Dags. We're talking about dogs. If getting off topic was gave me money, I would have enough to retire from this podcast.
Yeah, we'd have enough to retire for life. Our kids would have enough to retire.
The nepotism will be a brand new favorite phrase in the Bricky household. But yes, so dogs. I mean, we talked about our beaties nuts last week, and naturally, one of the big things that people often think of when they think of the Adeptus Mechanicus is they think of the often known cyber mastiff dog.
Let's go. So this is the foreshadowing. Last week when I was like, hey, what about the cyber mastiff? Are we going to talk about it? That cool thing they've been showing off in all the Dark Tide trailers? This is why you didn't bring it up last time. Let's go.
Correct. That is indeed why I brought it up. Well, maybe not the reason why, but it is indeed what we're bringing it up. Lots of types of dogs. The one that you know of the most is the cyber mastiff, clearly. But there's quite a lot of dogs. There's actually quite a few dogs. There's human dogs. There's Xenos dogs. The history of dogs. You've got wolves. You've even got like the Mechanicus dogs. There's some crazy things out there.
Mechanicus dogs.
Yeah, actually, they have models for them. The Cerberus sulfur hounds and raiders.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, those are really cool. I vaguely remember getting a model of them now. Once you said the name, it triggered like the memory of them. Oh, yeah, those are so boss.
Yeah, I must admit, I find the Cerberus sulfur hounds to be particularly cool because it's just like radiated dog flamethrower, which is, I mean, as far as Warhammer goes, that's a pretty Warhammer thing to say.
That is one of the most Warhammer things you could say.
It's pretty up there. So it's some goofy stuff. But anywho, all that aside, so obviously, I unfortunately for us, Possum like has some kind of like a ridiculous level of random bullshit facts intelligence.
He sure does.
And so I get to have the history of dogs in here.
The history of 40K dogs.
No.
Did not think this was going to be a topic.
No. We got the history of dogs.
Oh. I thought it was 40K dogs. No, just dogs.
No, just dogs. We're just talking about dogs.
Real dogs and their domestication from wild animals. Okay, cool. Let's roll, baby.
Talking about actual dogs. But anyway, so in the 40K, there's a little line in Prospero Burns that kind of discuss a genetic study from 2009 that suggests that the ancestry maybe have been a part for dogs back in the, I can never pronounce this properly, Yangtze River over in China. So the Yangtze River has a cliffside that looks like a sleeping dog. So take that, atheists. That's but it is common to assume that the ancestors of most domesticated dogs come from that area, specifically Central and East Asia. And at the earliest piece of archaeological data, the first undisputed dog is the Bonn Oberkassel dog that was found in Germany in 1914 and originated 14,200 years prior. There are other less conclusive bones from Belgium. But yes, it would appear that the Yangtze River or the Yangtze River in 40K is part of the Tibetan Plateau, which has the Imperial Palace. So rule of cool dictates that's where the dogs are from because suck it, biologists.
Hell yeah.
Also,
I still, to this day, I can't get over how big the Imperial Palace is. It's so wild.
It's hilarious. Also, that really does look like a dog, doesn't it?
I genuinely thought Shai put down I thought that was photoshopped. I thought that was like a meme GIF image.
It looks like a meme GIF image, but that's a dog, man.
That's a dog.
He's asleep.
Jeez. Yep.
Now, obviously, in the world of 40K, the use of dogs is a bit more convoluted. Obviously, their intertwined nature with humanity is it's obvious that the dogs accompany the settlers who left Terra during the Dark Age technology, went and colonized the stars. But the extent of which can vary, as there are, of course, general dogs that are very common, but there's also rare, fancier dogs that are used for utility or battle or whatever the reason might be. There are also a bit of distinctions between dogs in 40K. There's something called Canids, specifically Canids. I guess you call it Canids, but I think canines, so I'm going to call it Canids.
That's fair.
Those are actually vat-grown dogs, and they're kind of the Imperium's reboot of dogs, kind of like more spawned in a way for particular uses, and a bit of a separate breed from your average run-of-the-mill dog. Also, yes, that is a Canid there. That is a vat-grown Cadian Canid. He is quite adorable with his little armor and hat with the ears.
And the robot legs, and boy, 40K, we just love vat growing our stuff. We just if it can be grown in a vat, we will grow it in a vat. Baby, dog, whatever, sure, let's go.
Kriegsman, who cares?
Kriegsman, sure, yeah. Oh, that's right, the Krieg are just vat grown from
Yeah, it's in the book. But vats obviously big part of the whole thing. Get your dogs set up. I gotta read this book. There's a huge dive into the ownership of dogs and animal companions in the Flesh and Steel book, which I really need to read because I still haven't gotten around to it. And I know Shai loves it. It's also the book where they have that horrible like the Holocaust marching line for servitors for criminals that get turned into servitors.
Oh, that's where that's from. That is my grossest 40K thing is that.
Yeah, that one's pretty awful. It's also in Varen Genshua, the planet of bloodlines, so it got that Blade Runner vibe to it all. So regardless from that, interestingly enough, the ability to properly feed and maintain a pet in the Imperium is in its own right well above the means of the poor. So ownership of a pet is considered a luxury. Now, obviously, the necessity of an animal, depending on if they're vat-grown, cyborg-like, may change it and be more feasible. Smaller dogs need more food. If your dog is half tubing, doesn't much matter, But, obviously, the general idea is that if you're a poor hive dweller, you're not going to get crap. And so, therefore, you need to, get your dogs rolling. Or you need to get more money and more food to feed your dogs.
I was gonna say the poor peasantry can't even feed themselves or take care of themselves, let alone a dog, a pet, a cyber mastiff, a whatever. So yeah, that tracks.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that part in Mass Effect 2. People can only afford fish because there's no space for anything else. Kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, Shepherd's fish tank.
Yeah. Obviously, there are other types of undercared for dogs, specifically on Necromunda. There's a bunch of feral dogs called scavvy dogs. They're befriended by scavies, which is scavengers. But they're how do you say this? It's the kind of dog that I'm getting a little bit hungry, and they start looking at their owner with quite the vibe.
Quite the vibe.
Quite the vibe.
Please feed me, and yeah, for sure.
And you can be food if I'm not getting fed. A little bit of that. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I know some dude in Game of Thrones got eaten by dogs, so because dog was hungry.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, I guess that tracks. If you're trying to raise a feral dog and you don't feed it, and it's hungry, you're food.
Yeah, and also scavengers are not what would be called the coolest of people.
Yeah, they're probably not good owners, so there's probably not a whole chunk load of loyalty from the dog anyway.
No, most definitely not. So,
yeah,
that's its own issue. However, there are, of course, other kinds of dogs and wolves. There's obviously Space Marines. There's a lot of wolf and dog-based legions. You've got the Space Wolves, you had the Luna Wolves, and you also had the Warhounds. And the Warhounds were...
Warhounds were... The only Warhound that's coming to mind is the sort of Titan-esque Like,
That is a Warhound Titan, but no,
yeah.
that was the original name of the World Eaters. Because once
Oh, really?
they were the Warhounds, and then once Angron arrived, he was like, hounds are dogs and dogs obey, and we are not to be like
Oh,
leashed.
that's right. As soon as you said that quote, it all came flooding back. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a big old quote that's like, that's why we're the World Eaters now and the Warhounds no longer, or some kind of thing like
Yep.
that.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also this is not a joke written in this script, but it makes me laugh. A notable Space Marine chapter that's all about dogs is in the second founding of Ultramarine successor chapters, known as the Iron Snakes.
Yes, of course. When I think of dogs, I too my brain immediately goes to the Ultramarines Iron Snakes.
It's so
Of course.
It's so funny to me just hearing that. It's like, oh yes, this is all about dogs. The Iron Snakes.
Clearly dogs, yeah.
They do look pretty sick, but their whole deal is that they're all about ambush warfare. And they're constantly in a state of ambush warfare with like the Dark Eldar. So they utilize dogs to do a lot of the tracking. It's actually kind of humorous because they talk with like the dog. They talk with the dogs. They have like various kinds of whistles and things. There's a little excerpt where they would drop on their bellies with their chin down, and then they would like they're extremely well trained, big old attack dogs, right?
Yeah, that's just so weird. I would not expect that from the Iron Snakes, but I mean, I guess they're ambush related like a snake in the grass, so it stands to reason that they would, but I'm just like, man, why didn't you call them like the Iron Hounds or something?
I don't know. They're the Iron Snake. I'm sure someone was just having a funny time.
Yeah. Cool.
Of course, when it comes to the loyal breeds of dogs in the Imperium, that would be, of course, the mastiff. Have you seen a mastiff before, DK? Like in person?
I have seen I've seen like pictures of one, but I've never been in the presence of a mastiff now.
I cannot actually stress how big these dogs are. Like, they're not like some kind of giant wolf or nothing, but they are huge. Yeah, that one's pretty big.
Wow.
Tibetan mastiffs as well. Like, mastiffs are huge dogs. It's
Sam Lion.
yeah. I mean, it's a lion. It's like a small horse. I mean, they are genuinely gigantic dogs. It's actually terrifying seeing one in person. That would be a Tibetan mastiff, I believe, right there, the big fuzzy one.
Yeah, that might actually be a lion.
Yeah,
it's a small bear.
It is a small bear.
Crazy.
Now, obviously, in our world, mastiffs have a very long history of being guard dogs, and were some of the earliest war dogs in known history. Though they're obviously clearly not purebred by this point in 40K, the models of the mastiffs that we see in 40K kind of look a little bit more like Rottweilers than actual mastiffs. I'm actually not quite sure why they did that specifically, but the quote unquote mastiff in 40K is actually much more like a Rottweiler.
Yeah, those ones specifically give way more Rottweiler vibes. Those don't look like mastiffs like at all.
I'm pretty sure it's just like their colloquialism, and it's just them being really big dogs. Obviously, a Cyber Mastiff, or also known as Razor Fangs or Kill Dogs, are obviously meant to hunt, kill, or defend, depending on the commands of their owner. And those dogs can range very substantially, like a genuine full mechanical hound, like Metal Gear Rising, to make it look like a dog, or it could be a biological dog, but with some buffed up cybernetics.
Yeah, God, imagining those mastiffs, but like completely cyber kitted out with like razor fangs and razor claws and everything is horrifying.
I'm sad that I don't know the lyrics to the one from Metal Gear Rising, but it's pretty good. Yeah, that would be a full cybernetic mastiff right there in that photo. I mean that's a razor fan. That's a full on murder dog.
Yep, don't want that coming up and biting you in the arm. It'll take the damn arm from you.
So there are two kinds of common cyber mastiffs: the RVR class and the hard case. The hard case mastiff is the one that looks almost entirely mechanical and looks like a dog and more like a War Machine variant of the Boston Dynamics dog, the one that you occasionally
the one that
see
keeps getting
knocked
kicked and
over.
bullied to see if it'll react, and I just feel like the worst person ever for even watching it, yeah.
You know it's going to kill us all.
Oh, yeah, that's the start of the robot revolution, 100%.
Yeah, Skynet's happening in real time.
Mhm.
There's also so the hard case cybermassive is the one you might see in Necromunda as well. They're used by the Palatine Enforcers. They're, now the RVR or Rantal Class Venetus Reclaimer. We're going to call it RVR. That's
Yeah,
the
let's do
type.
that.
That's the type of mastiff that is the most common, and it's the one that is used by the Arbites. The
Yeah,
cyber mastiff
that's
is
the
the most
one.
common. That's
the one I know, yes!
That's the RVR. The one that you're thinking of all the time when you hear cyber mastiff, that's the RVR. Now, they have obviously the more biological look. They clearly have lots of metal augmentations still, but they're basically just a war dog servitor. That's the best way you could put it. War dog servitor.
Oh, no. Now I'm thinking about dogs getting servitorized, and it makes me very sad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any good news for you on that side of things.
Yes, it's the grim dark of 40K. I guess it's just, yep.
Obviously, they rely on really simple instructions. They're clearly based on combat, so Cyber Mastiff's brain is, a bit of cogitator and stuff. I'm assuming that photo I'm seeing right here is from that Necromunda Underhive game, because I believe you got a dog in that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Though, I mean, regardless, obviously, the Cyber Mastiff is a genuinely terrifying sight. For some, it is the sight of an unrelenting attack from a hive gang, but to others, seeing that might be like, oh, the Emperor's Law is here. That's very bad.
Yeah. Although I guess if you're just a civvy, it's like, oh, hooray, the Cyber Mastiff is here. They're gonna deal with the problem. So, seeing it is could be a good thing because it's like finally someone's gonna deal with those yavies that are ruining the Underhive city or something.
I mean, that's a very sweet and I would argue somewhat naive way to look at it. Me sitting there in the Underhive being like, finally, someone's going to deal with these bad people. And then an Inquisitor walks by. Like, I don't care that they're on my side. I'm shitting my pants, on sight.
It's fair, actually. I guess you're right. You're right. No, you're right. I'm wrong. That's fair.
It's just, I'm thinking about the concept of oh, thank God the cops are here. And then just this dog runs by me at Mach 6 and he just doesn't care.
Yeah. All you smell is blood and oil as it streaks past you. And it's like, oh God, please don't let me be next.
The obviously cyber mastiffs themselves are very strong. It's said that the bite of a cyber mastiff can tear an Ogryn's arm off, which I think might be hyperbole, but if it's not, holy shit.
Wow. Even yeah, of course they're cyber mastiffs, they're robotic, they've got all they're all amped up, but god damn, to be able to rip off an Ogryn's arm?
I mean, it's big and scary and holy crap, but it is.
Wow.
It is, I don't know, I keep forgetting how much Ogryns are insane though, because they're so big.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the drop ships in Darktide when they're in them and they have to be hunched in there and they can barely fit. And
yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it certainly could, but Ogryns. Anyway, obviously that's the main type of cyber mastiff that you're thinking of, that everyone thinks of. That's the one, the cop one. It's all right, that's the dog. Got that dog in him. I mean, they do have it in the tabletop as well. You can actually run.
Yeah, it has minis, right?
Yeah, you can run Imperial agents, which is various things, rogue traders, naval breachers, etc. But particularly one of them is the subductor and exaction squads, which are squads of Arbites. And I believe one of them, no, they both come with one cyber mastiff.
Are they particularly good, like the cyber mastiff in the tabletop?
No.
Is it just
No, not really. I mean, it's like, nah. It's
The
like
immediate depression in your voice and having like, no.
it's once per. It's like 3 attacks at 401. Like it is like an unarmed space marine, which I know might say, oh my god, it's like a space marine, but in the world of the tabletop, it's not that good. No.
Yeah. Oh, poor cyber mastiffs.
Yeah, poor. I mean, it is funny though, but it is, it is funny dog.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, so all that aside, of course, the other one that we discussed earlier was the Canid. And the Canid is the most prominent dog that you will find in the 41st millennium. They say these dogs are the result of uncovering the lost DNA of the quote unquote ancient war beast on Terra.
Oh.
Yeah, ancient war beast, I guess.
Oh, okay, cool. Like, sounds dope.
Obviously, these are a lot more like German Shepherds. They are also the Belgian Malinois.
Yeah, those are words, all right.
I don't know. I mean, it looks a lot like a German Shepherd, but it's just slightly different.
Yeah.
So, German Shepherd, the classic German Shepherd is the one you'd think of.
Okay.
I think it makes a little bit of sense when they chose this because I think German Shepherds are, I mean, they're clearly very, very strong and powerful dogs. But I think that they're less scary to most people than a Rottweiler.
Agreed.
I think
They kind of have like a similar vibe, but it's much more like, oh, what a friendly dog. Can I pet the dog? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the I think it's just like the visual, and they want something like if they're going to do the police one, they're going to choose like the scarier dog, in terms of like the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, German Shepherds were bred with making a very good herding and working dog, and often used for search and rescue, lots of police work, sometimes or decently in the military. And as an aside, obviously, it was the basis for dog meat in the Fallout games, of course.
Of course.
There was a similar intention with the Belgian Malinois, whatever it is. And it's descended from the same dog that became a German Shepherd. But it is a bit more resilient and a bit more sleek with its senses, and a very long history of usage in military, as it was utilized in both world wars by the armed forces around the world, particularly in the special forces. And as an aside, the Belgian Malinois played CX-404 in the Fallout TV show, which I have not seen yet, but I have been told is very good.
Yeah, I've been told the same thing. It's very good. It's another well done part by what is it, Walter Goggins?
Oh yeah, I think Walter Goggins.
Mm-hmm. Walter Goggins. Anyway, go ahead.
Obviously, in 40K, their version is a bunch of amalgamations of various breeds, and Canids can be whatever they need to be depending on if they're vat-grown or whatever the reasoning. Obviously, quote-unquote Terran war beasts make them used by the Guard a lot because they are good at war and also very, very good for morale. Obviously...
Wow, that's a picture shot. Jesus.
Yeah, he's got an arm. It's from the show, I guess.
Give him a hand, right?
Obviously, in the Guard, they are told to treat them differently than a human trooper and an abhuman because their standards are different, and more importantly, they outrank you as well. These little dogs.
Oh no, being outranked by the dog. What a great feeling.
It's pretty funny. They're ranking those to prevent guardsmen from feeling superior to one another and to also emphasize that the instincts of the war beast are stronger than some soldiers. If you refuse to follow a Canid into combat, it is a capital offense, and striking one is punishable by death.
That's fair. You strike a dog, you probably should be just put down. Yeah, agreed.
It's just kind of humorous because, like, yeah, I mean, the dog is more loyal than a guardsman often, so therefore the guardsman will outrank you, or the dog will outrank you.
We can trust the dog, the guardsman, not so much.
It's just so funny as a concept, but you know what?
Yeah.
It totally makes sense from what they're thinking about, like the concept they're thinking about. Like, oh yeah, the dogs are more loyal than you, guardsmen, therefore they outrank you.
Yeah, the dogs are trained to be loyal. Guard are trained to be loyal, but it doesn't always work out that way.
There's also a kind of humorous thing where there is a caveat. It's striking a Canid basically, which is like, if issued clear verbal orders by your Canid, self-report for psychological evaluation following the completion of said orders.
That's fair. That is a great reason to get a psych eval. Yeah, the dog told me to do it. The dog told me to do it.
I like how
Yeah,
it specifically states psych eval after you complete the orders. Yeah, follow what the dog tells you to do, and then check your heads.
Yeah.
Unlike the members of the Guard, Canids do not respond well to threats, violence, or accusations of heresy. After extensive studies and experiments, aka 5 centuries worth, combined with the genetic recreation of these dogs, it was found that they best respond with firm encouragement while dealing with them. The most effective phrases employed by guardsmen to encourage Canids include, prostrate yourself before the Emperor, and I shall rub your abdomen in reward for humility. Or, adequate performance, soldier. Or, who is an effective combat beast? Is it you? The question is rhetorical. It is you.
That's so great, actually. I love that. I love that sometimes 40K will just do goofy shit like that. I love it when they're just not serious and they're just like, who's a good boy? Rhetorical question. It is you. It's great.
It's very Futurama coded.
Yeah, for sure.
Other extensive testing have shown that Canids thrive when it comes to constant exertion, similarly to guardsmen, both in and out of combat. They rarely tire of retrieving thrown objects and love to walk. It is the duty of the guardsman to assist the Canid in both of these respects. Obviously, outside of the guard, rogue traders can use them often, and most of their other non-Xenos dogs to their genetic temperament. The best example of this is the rogue trader Elucia Vane, who leads the Elucidian Star Striders, and her Canid, named Exemilian, was selected due to its combination of loyalty and aggression, and trained by the Voidsman at Arms. There's the dog right there.
Oh, that is a fancy dog.
Oh, it's a rogue trader dog, so it's gotta be fancy.
Yeah. Not very mechanical or anything either. It's kind of just a dog.
Mm-hmm. It's a dog with some armor.
Yeah, that's a dog.
Before there are some of the weirder dogs, though, there are a couple other 2 types of dogs. There is the higher and taller end called the Stalker Hound. It is a hunting dog used by Imperial Knight nobles, particularly on Dominion, if you remember from good old Assassinorum Kingmaker. They are known for their extremely acute sense of smell and for being exceptionally tall. Their sense of smell is so good that they are a high concern for assassins, as they are able to differentiate them from the person they are disguised as. Which is
good thing in Assassinorum those dogs weren't that big of a thing.
It was definitely a thing mentioned, I think, by the Canids assassin. I forget her name.
Okay.
On the other smaller end of the scale, there is a battle mutt, which works side by side with the ratlings. They're basically pack mules, and they look like a yoked up French bulldog. And the image of it is the greatest thing ever.
Oh, wow. That's one pissed off dog.
See, we need to find the other battle mutt, though. Oh, wait. Or is that the battle mutt?
Wow. It is yoked to the gills, though. You're right. That is one muscular-ass dog. I mean, I guess if you're a pack mule, you kind of gotta be. Like, it just comes with the territory. You're eventually going to get that way, but god damn.
Yeah, that is the mutt that comes in the Ratling box. There's a new kill team of Ratlings, and it's in that box. And it's actually quite funny because it has like a rule, and it gives you like lethal hits or something. I have no idea why. If it's just like barking at something and it's like woof woof, kill it or something, but it's very goofy to me.
That is a silly looking dog. I do kind of love that.
It is a goofy dog. It's a funny time. I don't actually remember why it does that. Hold on, I'm looking up the Ratling data sheet to see if I can figure this out.
We need the rules for the battle mutt. Please hold.
I need to know. Ratlings. War gear abilities. Ratling battle mutt. Once per battle, when it decides to shoot it gets lethal hits. I don't know why. It just gives it. I guess
It just does. It just does.
I guess it just does.
Seeing that battle mode just fills you with the Holy Spirit, and you're just more prone to critical hits and better aim and headshots and stuff. Obviously,
So goofy. Oh well. All right, and then of course, past those, you have a couple other weird dogs like the Fenrisian wolves.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were gonna get to that.
Yeah, I mean it's like a gray wolf from Terra, of course. But they're just really, really big.
Yeah, big enough to pull a sleigh, eh?
I mean, big enough. Well, there's no more sleigh.
That's true. The mini got updated, didn't it? And it's not
there's no
a Santa
sleigh.
pulling sleigh anymore. Yeah,
Which is really
I
mean, it's unfortunate, but like the new mini does rule. So
it does. But yeah, I remember how big these Fenrisian wolves get. And isn't it like, do you have to like hunt one or survive Fenris to become a space wolf? Isn't that part of like the ritual to become one?
I feel like you're right. It's like something along with like taming the wolf or something along those lines. I don't fully remember because I get confused between like all 20 legions recruitment abilities.
It's a lot.
But that would not surprise me. That sounds right.
Yeah, maybe not killing one, because that seems like it would be spitting in the face of the space wolves. So yeah, it seems like taming one, befriending one, or something has to be part of it.
Taming one sounds right.
Yeah.
Of course, naturally, the Fenrisian wolves are, and I should make this very clear, they're just really, really big. There's Black Mane Wolf as well, which is supposed to serve as the minions of Morkai. And in Fenrisian slang, it is deemed to be impossible, or as taming a Black Mane, which is not actually true, but it's like, hey, only the most mighty of Thunder Wolves or Wolf Lords can truly tame a Black Mane. Like, it's like that hard.
Status symbol, yeah.
There are also Thunder Wolves, which are much more shaggy and look less like a wolf and more like a rhinoceroid. They have similar teeth to sharks, and they seem to be perpetually growing and replaced upon breakage by another row of teeth. Their primary prey are mastodons and ice trolls, and so only space wolves have the ability to hunt these creatures and are then used as cavalry.
Damn. I'm just trying to imagine giant wolf rhinoceros shark.
I mean,
and it's just crazy.
I mean, it's wild because like you look at something like a space marine, a space wolf, and then you think, all right, go ride it. And it
Good luck.
Yeah, like get on that wolf. It's wild to me.
Yeah, it's one of the few times, like, next to those wolves, it's like, wow, that Space Marine kind of looks normal-sized, and it's like, oh, Space Marines are not normal human-sized, but next to that wolf, it's like, it looks it, and it's like, how big are these fuckers?
Obviously, then from the Fenrisian wolves, you also have the Admech wolves, the Admech dogs. Of course, Admech have cyber Canids that are used as their mounted cavalry. They also have, the usual kind of dog that you would expect an Admech to have, which looks like that horrifying thing.
Oh no. Does that really, I mean, I guess that's a dog.
Yeah, they're very odd. Despite looking like the various fauna in Horizon Zero Dawn is what is stated, these creatures are still dogs and are described to be vat-grown to an abnormally large sized and stuffed to the brim with cybernetics. Skitarii tend to spend years bonding with their cyber Canid to assure that there is a symbiotic bond, because that is the holiest gift an Omnissiah can provide to a Skitarii. Naturally.
Yeah, God, those minis are so cool. And Shai said, don't worry, DK, there's meat under all that metal.
Technically, there is meat underneath there.
Yay. Well, the minis do slap, so that's what counts.
The minis do slap. That is very true. I also like the dude with the double pistols because he looks like a baller.
He sure does. He looks like a knight. Looks like a pistol wielding cyber dog riding knight.
Sure. Because the helmet.
Yeah, the helmet gives him very cool vibes. Yeah.
That's true. Obviously, these are just purely full of all kinds of cybernetics. They also have shock dogs, which is rather interesting. So, it's kind of humorous here. It's with a name like that, you would think there'd be electric dogs. Bad news. Quote, keep back from the wire, Eriton said. We keep shock dogs in the inner room. It wasn't a dog. It wasn't even an animal. Though it was making the animal growl the three of them had heard outside, it was a form of attack servitor, a grim fusion of cybernetic quadruped and human flesh. It barked and snarled at them, dragging its steel foreclaws across the mesh. Its steel jaws so they could bite a man's arm off. Its scalp and nape were covered with a thick mane of cyber cables that draped across its deep-set eyes like dreadlocks. Other shock dogs appeared out of the darkness behind it, drawn by the lights and the smell of unmodified humans. They padded forward, growling, hackles raised. Some sported spikes or body blade veins or saw-edged jaw augmetics. They were feral kill servitors, permanently goaded to madness and hyperaggression by neuropsychotic implants, with most of their humanity long since surgically excised and replaced by biomimetic augmentation. So,
holy shit.
Your dogs at home that you're looking for are just people that are made to act like dogs.
Yeah, oh boy, I was about to say that sounds like some Full Metal Alchemist shit right there, where you're just mixing dog, human, and metal and shocking stuff, and just I don't like shock dogs. I don't like that at all.
I mean, it's kind of funny though, because it's so screwed up. It's kind of funny.
It is so messed up for sure. I could see that. Okay, fine. So screwed up that it becomes hilarious. All right, I'll give you that one.
Sometimes sometimes it's kind of funny. And
sometimes you have to laugh to keep yourself from crying.
Sure. insert the Titus laugh from Final Fantasy X.
Ha 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 ha. Now, for you making a Final Fantasy reference was not on my Adric bingo card today.
I played 10. It was like a decade ago or longer, but I played 10.
Yeah, 10's all right.
I like the dude who hit like the volleyball.
It's a blitzball.
You know what I mean. The fact that I remember that should be enough for you.
Yes, it is.
Obviously, you have flesh hounds as well. Those are the dogs you find in the realm of chaos. I guess there's also the beasts of Nurgle, but I wouldn't really call those dogs.
Yeah, what would you call those though?
Slugs, maybe. I don't know. But obviously, flesh hounds are demon hounds of Khorne. They are very, very big, can outrun a lot of things moving at full speed, and they're utilized by the forces of chaos to track and eliminate specific difficult to find targets like a commander.
God, those are horrifying. I hate the big flesh wings that pop out of their mouth. I don't like that.
I kind of like it because they're called corn dogs. Ooh.
Okay. Fair.
I'm sorry, Shy. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I like the new minis better because they look more like dogs. The old minis look kind of like reptiles, which if that's what you like about them, then fair, but I like the new ones.
I do kind of like the old ones. You're right. They do look a little reptilian, but they still look dog-like enough, and they just look creepier and more like ferocious. And yeah, I like those old ones better.
The old ones have their own stay, but luckily for us, we also have Karanak, which is very important because Karanak is basically just like a Cerberus dog. It's just a three-headed flesh hound, basically.
Hell yeah.
And of course, gore hounds are also a thing, but those are apex flesh hounds, leader of the pack, that kind of thing. They also have a collar known as the Collar of Khorne, which is created by furnace demons by fusing the blood of slain psychers into the metal. And is forged on an anvil that is based at the foot of Khorne's throne, which is basically like protecting them from psychic attacks, you know.
Oh, so even if you're a psyker, you can't ward off one of these demon dogs. You're just kind of like, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna psyker blast you, and it's like, nope, and it just rips your face off.
It's the classic like Khorne hates sorcery, therefore
Yeah.
type deal.
Okay.
So it's the usual. I think there's actually I think it gives you like a feel no pain against psychic attacks or something along those lines. I don't quite remember.
Okay.
Hilariously, for no reason at all, Games Workshop removed Karanak, the Cerberus dog, from the game for I have no idea why. And me and the Poor Hammer folks were pretty annoyed by that, especially Brad. And then they added it back, I guess, after enough complaints. And so the group chat that we have is Karanak, we're so fucking back.
Karnak, where but it's a really cool looking mini too. Like that is one crazy looking Cerberus. Is it good? I'm assuming you can run in the tabletop. Is it like a good thing to run?
I think it's fine. I don't think it's great. It's it's a dog. It's fast. It runs at people. It stabs them. It's a dog.
Okay. You wouldn't run it in a tournament, but if you're just playing with your buddies, it's fine.
I mean, you might run it in a tournament. I don't know. I don't play demons, so I don't 100% know. But he doesn't look bad. Maybe he's a little expensive. I don't know.
He looks dope.
Of course, there are also Kroot hounds. Naturally, Kroot hound is the classic type of Kroot thing where they can absorb stuff that they consume. They look like I don't really have much to say about Kroot hounds. They look like a Kroot dog.
Isn't it the thing that if a Kroot eats something enough that it starts to become it?
Yes.
So is that just a Kroot that's just eaten a lot of dog-esque stuff?
I don't think so. I believe they are Kroot hounds specifically, but they do eat stuff that can make them a little bit different, like normal, because that's what Kroot hounds do.
Right. Okay.
They're a little spindly and a little weird, but they're about the size of the larger dog, and they're pretty smart though. They know a lot of things. They hunt and have security things, and they can emit alerts at fancy things, fancy frequencies. Wait, no way, no way. Is DK actually correct?
I'm right. Let's go.
Wait, hold on. My question is more are Kroot hounds in general all Kroot that have debilitated themselves because they eat dogs, or is it a bunch of Kroot that did that? And now, well, Kroot hounds are an evolutionary dead end of the Kroot species. It is likely that the Kroot hounds came into existence when the Kroot kindred consumed. Oh, so okay, their existence began that way. Okay, that I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought every single one of them.
They look.
I was every single one of them did that. I was that seems like too much.
Yeah, that does seem like a little much. Yeah, I love the sort of razor spines that come out of their back. I love that look so much.
Yeah, the little quills.
Yeah, the quills. That's the word for it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do imagine that. I do imagine that this is the kind of now they're a species in its own right, but it probably started from one dude who ate too many dogs.
Right. Yeah, it's not like that's how you get every Kroot hound. That's just how they started. Yeah.
Yes. And then of course I would be remiss to not talk about the squig.
The squig.
There are, of course, a couple squigs. There's two particular squigs. There is the growler squig, which is a small dog, very vicious, like little ankle biters with a full mouth of teeth. And so they're, in a sense, a lap dog, but, they're horrifying.
Ravenous. Yeah.
So they're an orc lap dog. They are a status symbol for their owner. I would 100% would not be surprised if there was an orc book that had a war boss with a lap squig that was similar to the James Bond-esque evil villain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would
also
not
the art
me.
of it is just I'm assuming old art that I guess there's never been probably a reason to do updated art of a growler squig, and so we just have this beautiful little artwork.
Yeah, I mean it's old, hilarious, somewhat shitty art. Yeah,
I said it was beautiful.
I think it's ugly, but I think it's ugly because the squig is ugly.
I mean, that is kind of the point of the squig, right?
It is an
You don't want to
ugly
make
squig.
a pretty squig, yeah.
There are pretty squigs, and it's called a bomb squig. That's the prettiest squig.
I love the hair squigs. I think the hair squigs are very pretty.
They make orcs look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course you have the herd squig, also known as a squig hound, which is for runt herds for Orc society, at which a runt herd is obviously tending to the herds of Gretchen's slaves, and therefore herd squigs are herding grots to do what they need to do.
That makes those are horrible looking.
Yeah, I mean, squigs are always like awful and ugly looking. Ironically, squigs are one of those things where the minis look a lot prettier than I think the artwork of them, because the mini is just like, oh, it's a little dog thing.
That artwork looks like a ravenous mutated giant rat. That's crazy looking.
That is a pretty good way I would describe it, yeah.
Yeah, that's imagine seeing that in a dark alley. No, thank you.
There are also a couple of like Xenos dogs. You can find like a reptilian wolf called the Fenrisian Althak, which is just like a urinates powerful pheromones. Where the hell did you find this?
All right. I mean, it's like, what is it, like deer piss is what they use to attract deer? Same idea, right?
Wait, you're not supposed to drink that?
Oh, well, hey, you're still here. Apparently you can drink it. It's all right, bro.
Actual stun lock for a good second on that one. Hit him with the real stun lock on that.
Jesus. I was not expecting what? I'm not supposed to drink deer piss?
It's just a Varen bricky. It kind of do actually be a bit of a Varen.
Yeah, a little bit.
It do actually be a little bit of a Varen. That is so.
We love a good Mass Effect reference.
I mean, I do like my sci-fi. And then of course, we have the best dog, the number one most important dog. Of all of the hounds in all of 40K, we must discuss the best hound. Hound, Octavia's companion in the Night Lord books.
Fair. Oh, I'd almost forgot about that.
The Hound is clearly the most important hound.
Obviously, Hound is the best hound. You're right. You're right.
He is the most loyal. And besides that, that's most of the dogs. I mean, there are definitely other dogs in the world. There are probably dogs in various random books. You've even got other funny pets like, I'm forgetting his name right now. Here in Blackheart's funny little monkey, psyker monkey thing.
That's right. The one that they really wanted to just strangle, and it's so annoying. And yeah,
there's lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff available in current terms of dogs. But besides that, I mean, the main dog people probably came here to hear about is the cyber mastiff, and also there's the Canids, and that's like the main kind of thing of dogs. And then of course you get dogs from hell, and dogs that breathe sulfur, and metal dogs and dogs.
It's interesting. So all of that, very cool. Loved it. There was a part of me that was expecting Tyranids, and there to be some sort of weird Tyranid bug dog hybrid that was just like really like fast. But I guess Tyranids don't really need that. They're already fast chittering little.
I mean, if there was like a Tyranid dog, it would either be a Ripper Swarm or like a Hormigaunt. But those are definitely not. Yeah. They aren't really dogs.
Not really dogs. Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting there to be some weird mutated bug dog.
I mean, in a sense, like, anything could be anything because it's Tyranids,
True. Yeah, if they just eat enough biomass, they could probably like genetically make one if they needed it.
I mean, Termagants are about the size of large dogs, so
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I always forget how big Termagants are. Big boys.
Just play Space Marine 2, right?
Yeah, and then when you slam a Termagant into the floor, you kind of look at it for a second, then you're like, oh, there's the guardsman I slammed it next to. Oh, it's the size of the dog.
Yeah. And then when you're walking next to the guard, it's like, oh wow, it's there's a bit of a size difference.
Small person, big dog.
Yeah. I forget who was asking for it. People were like talking about all the Arbites. I'm like, oh, how come we're not getting an Arbites update in Space Marine 2? And I was like, brother, I don't know what to tell you. Let me hold your hand while I say this, but Arbites would not do well against what the Space Marines are fighting.
No, they would not. Arbites are great for very specific situations, and I would argue that Dark Tide is exactly where they need to be.
Agreed. They really do need to be there, for sure. That's the perfect setting for them.
But anyway, that's all I've got for dogs. So DK, I have to ask you the question at the end of the episode. You like dags?
What? What?
Dags.
Dag? Dag?
Yeah, you
What
like
did he say?
dags.
Do I like dags?
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact quote. I'm sorry. I just remember the guy gets really confused after
He goes, oh, dogs. Yeah, I like dags. I like caravans more.
God, I need to watch that movie soon.
It's no, I won't lie. Okay, like I feel this is the most like foreigner thing I could possibly say. When I was in the UK, because I reference Snatch all the time, just in general. I occasionally threw out like one or two Snatch references out there in the UK, and I always got this look of like, how the hell does he know that movie?
Yes, no one anywhere else in the world could possibly know about Snatch.
I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I don't know. Those of you English men and women in our comment section, please tell me, is like is watching Snatch like an English requirement? Is it like a British requirement? Because I mean, it's the same thing I remember like watching DDLJ for all of like my Indian friends. And like there's like the possibility that 9 out of 10 Indian people have all seen DDLJ, and I'm almost wondering how much of this is a similar thing, but for Snatch.
I don't even know what DDLJ is.
I
said that and I was like, the what?
Extremely popular Indian film, very famous Bollywood film. Big start of Shah Rukh Khan's career, which is a huge actor. I can't pronounce it at all because it's very difficult, and I think it's in Hindi. So.
Fair.
All right. Well,
in summation, we like dags.
We like dags. I'll see you. Everyone will see you next week in 2 minutes.
It was 2 minutes, 5 minutes ago.